right. It's okay. It's fine. I can just edit it out if I get to it. All right. So in this example 16, Jules is organising the annual Year 11 dance. The total cost for the event will be $500 for room hire, $280 for the DJ, $25 per person for food. And they've helpfully created a table for us of the total cost, which they're calling C dollars. Remember, it's just a pro numeral like anything else. The total cost there, and based on the number of students attending the dance. So here, the total cost is the dependent variable, and the number of students is the independent variable, because the total cost is different just depending on how many students attend the dance. Okay, so it's telling us a linear model of the form cost, there it is, I'll write it out a bit bigger, cost equals A plus Bn can be used to find the total cost of the event. Which variable is the, oh look, I've jumped ahead. Which variable is the dependent variable? Well, C, cost, is the dependent variable. What's the value of B? So this question's saying, okay, well, what's the bit that changes based on the number of students attending? Can anyone see that straight away from the example? There's a fixed cost here, and there's a variable cost. What's the variable cost? What's the cost that changes depending on how many students attend? Well, I'm going to tell you the answer is that it's the $25 per head for food. Doesn't matter how many people attend, the room hire is going to stay the same. Doesn't matter how many people attend, the cost for the DJ is going to stay the same, even if only one person turns up. But if only one person turns up, then food's only going to cost $25. So it's the food, or if 100 people turn up, the food's going to cost $250. So the food cost changes depending on how many people turn up. So and that B, therefore, must be the 25 that represents the variable cost depending on the number of people who attend. In the rule C equals A plus Bn, what does A represent? Well, if that's the variable cost, then A must be the fixed cost. Okay, so A is going to be the things that don't change depending on how many people turn up. So the room and the DJ. And so what's the value of A? Well, A is going to be the total fixed cost, which is 500 plus 280, so A will be equal to 780, if I haven't missed anything. Write down the linear rule for C in terms of N. Well, now that we know that what those variables are, what those pronumerals stand for, we can go C equals 780 plus 25N. Now that's pretty handy if you are planning a dance, because it now tells you, it's a nice little formula that we've just created ourselves that tells you exactly how much money you're going to have to spend depending on how many people turn up. All right, how do we sketch a graph of it? Okay, how do we sketch a graph of it? Well, we do the same thing as that we've always done, is we start with our axes. We're dealing with positive numbers here, so we need only really focus on that quadrant where everything's positive. And it's the same as how you've been sketching before. I think it's handy to look at, okay, well, what happens if n equals 0? So here's n there on that axis. There's the total cost C on that axis. If nobody turns up, if n equals 0, there's still going to be a cost there. And what's it going to be? If nobody turns up, how much does this event cost? 780. So that it's here at n equals 0. We could start it there for 780. Oh. whack, isn't it? So 780. Okay, now why don't we deal with, whenever I'm graphing, I just like two easy ones. So if we go, what happens if n equals 1? How does the cost change? So at 0, it's 780. What does it cost if only one person turns up? It's going to be 780 plus the food, which is, someone's going to say 805. Okay. Okay, and so the graph of the equation, C equals 780 plus 25n, is going to shoot up in that way. The last thing it wants to know is, okay, well, what's the cost, the total cost of the dance, if 105 students attend? So it's going to be 780, we just use our formula, plus 25 times 105.